Yeah, right, as if I'm gonna start milking the update. So anyway, this video has nothing to do with fraud at all. I actually, uh, this is just Yap Sesh, you know, solo Guini Yap Sesh. It's a rarity nowadays, I know. Since the death of Lasagna, unfortunate for her, she'll be up in the mountains of Tibet or something. Is that right? Okay, if you think that's racist, I take it back. If you don't think that's racist, I don't take it back. That's how we're gonna please everyone there. So anyway, after the death of Lasagna, we gotta go back to, solo Guini Yap sessions, just like the old days. Anyway, this is gonna break. I hear you, shut up. I want to talk about something completely random, okay? I want to talk about a video game that I don't play anymore. I haven't played in, like, I don't know, half a year? 9 months, maybe? Clash Royale. Not because I'm getting back into the game. Okay, it's a terrible game. I hate it. Actually, it's so bad. Oh my god. I want to talk about it because of a certain Ken. You may know him. I have mentioned him once before on the channel. It's essentially, imagine, literally the exact same content. I did like a little like swishy motion with my hand. If I had a face cam, you'd be like questioning what I was doing with my life. But that's never happening. I'm never gonna face cam. Stop asking. Anyway, it's literally just the same content, right? Me and him, same thing. It's just a guy who is probably too old to be playing the video game that we're playing. Well, I'm sat in my bedroom, he's sat in his kitchen, yapping over a video game. The only difference is he's playing Clash, I'm playing Ultra Kill, and he is about 12 times my size, but that's details, technicalities, you know, we're just gonna get past that fact. The reason I bring him up is because I was talking to Kynan, who you might know if you're in the Discord. If you do, I apologize. I'm terribly sorry. But we were out and about the other day. You know, surprising. You know, we know each other in real life. It's very funny. I'll mention how later because it's actually a really funny story. Anyway, we were out and about with another friend of mine, and I mentioned like, oh hey, did you know that Ken is coming to England? Right, he's going to be Brighton. And I was like, I was talking, and I was like, wouldn't it be really funny if we just rocked up to Brighton and tried finding him? Now, okay. Of those of you who are in England, right, you'll know that Brighton is very far south of England, and I don't live in the south. Or at least I don't live that far south. But the benefit of living in England is this place is tiny. So I could just drive there, could get a train there, you know, we could go there. Be a nice, got both skulls. It'd be fun. And it would also be really exceedingly funny. Like, it would be so funny. Oh my god, it would be hilarious. The only problem is that it's a little bit weird, right? It's a little bit stalkery. Like, it would be really funny, yes, I stand by this. It would also be incredibly strange. But it would also be really funny. That's the dilemma I'm in right now. So, like, there is a debate in the back of my head of, like, should I do this? Because reasonably, okay, again, if you're, like, English, you'll probably know. If you're in Brighton, you're probably going to spend most of your time down by the beach and the pier, okay? And if you're not English, you'll have no idea what I'm on about, but just stick with me. Okay, you'll be down by the pier, so it shouldn't... Realistically, it shouldn't be too hard to find him. Like, it wouldn't be too stalkery. But it still would be a bit weird. So I'm thinking, probably not going to do that. It probably would be too weird. But it remains as one of the funniest theoretical concepts I've come up with. AKA, it would be fucking hilarious. It would be really funny. Go there and ask him for a claim of Clash. I haven't played the game in months. I get destroyed by him. And then we'd, you know, reciprocate with, okay, now you got a 1v1 be an ultra kill. I'd bring my PC down, you know. That's what we'd have to do. But anyway, I mentioned, right, okay. There's a very funny thing with, okay, I mentioned, like, me meeting Kynan, like, in real life is weird. I don't know how many people this has happened to, okay? But when I was younger, I had the unfortunate experience of getting pretty into Hypixel Skyblock. If you've played Skyblock, you'll know why this is a bad thing. And if you haven't played Skyblock, don't. So I was pretty into it during the COVID times, you know. I think I logged about 2,500 hours in this game. Which, for reference, I have 1,000 in Ultra Kill, and I've been making videos almost daily for a year and a half. So I played a lot of Skyblock. I played a lot of Skyblock. And one day, in the random dungeon finder that the game has, I stumble upon this guy called Stego, you know. I'm just like, you know, usually Party Finder is full of the worst people, like the most toxic, annoying bastards. Oh my god, I never want to see these people again in my life. I have the displeasure of coming into contact with them. But this Stego guy was different. They were kind of funny. And then, you know, after this random run, they add me as a friend on Hypixel, which, you know, again, if you've played Hypixel ever, you'll know that this means nothing. So the next day, you know, I wake up, and I'm like, okay, the first thing I do, because I was 15 years old and it was the middle of COVID, I was like, okay, I'm going to log into Hypixel and play Skyblock. And I have been muted. Now, I have said some crazy things on Hypixel. I'm gonna be real. I have pushed the boundaries of what you can say on there because I don't care anymore. And I have never been muted outside of this time. I do not know what I said to get muted. Fuck knows. But I was muted. And would you guess who shows up on my island? It's this guy. It's this Stego guy. And he shows up. And he starts trying to talk to me. And I'm like, okay, this is really weird. This never happens. This doesn't happen. But like, I'm muted, so I can't talk. So I come up with the genius idea. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start placing down signs, right? I'm gonna craft signs, and I'm gonna use them to communicate, which you can't do anymore, by the way. They patched that quite a while ago now. But anyway, so I start talking to him through signs, and this is just how we met each other. We just started talking like consistently from the point. He added me to a Discord server where him and some other guys were on. Rest in peace, I haven't spoken to any of them but Kynan for years. And I'm not missing out on anything, honestly. Anyway, one day, like a few years down the line, right? We've been talking for like a few years at this point. He just randomly mentions that he lives, you know, in England, right? Like, I knew he was English. I didn't know where. And he mentions he lives somewhere. And I'm like, I know where that is. It was 20-minute drive down the road. So, out of everywhere in the world that this guy could have been, it just so happened to be that he lived 20 minutes down the road from me. Which, you know, was hilarious at the time. I just thought it was really funny. And then, you know, a few more years go by, and it's like, you know, he's introduced me to some of his friends. I've introduced him to some of mine, you know, we've got like this whole, like, group going on now. And one day, I'm like, hang on. I can drive. I have a car. So I'm just like, okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna go, like, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna pop down. And, yeah. And, you know, ever since, the best friends forever. My goat. Kind of my goat. I don't think she watches the videos. But I wouldn't, they're a bit funny. My goat. It was, I don't know. I think it's just very funny how this random person I met on Hypixel Skyblock, the day before I got muted and had to talk to them through signs, I am now just like, yeah, like, hey, like, I'm just calling up, being like, hey, I'm around. Do you want to like chill with a childhood friend of mine? That's very funny, very entertaining, very random as well. Remember when I titled this video like I'm gonna keep milking the fraud update or whatever? Man, I love blatantly lying in my video titles for the sake of a bit. There's probably someone out there who got really annoyed. I was like, oh, it's not a fraud video? Grr. At least I was open and honest about it at the very start. So you can't complain about that. That! Okay, I have no health. I have all my health. Never mind, I take everything back. So anyway, that's enough story time with Guini. Story time with Guini, what a stupid fucking name. Back to more Ultra Kill gameplay. Very high octane, intense, Ultra Kill gameplay. I saw someone, some random guy in a Discord server, because of course it was. They were like bitching and complaining about me, as does happen with a vocal minority of this community. And as those of you who are frequent watchers know, I like to make fun of people who do that. Right? Not too frequently, but occasionally I'm just gonna like giggle at something so hard I'm like, okay, I'm gonna show this to my friends. And one of these times, I saw someone complaining about me. But it wasn't like the usual complaint. I saw them complaining, like they were pissed off that I used, like, malicious rail cannon. Like, I just do this. They were pissed off that I would just, like, raw dog malicious rail cannon. And, like, I'm sorry. But that was just too funny. That was something about that was just really funny to me. Like, you know, I have a lot of people. Like a vocal minority of people who don't like me. Every YouTuber does, right? Like, it's just a fact of being a guy on the internet. There will be people who don't like you. And they have many reasons for not liking me. They don't like my videos, they don't like my thumbnails, they don't like my titles and you know? Whatever. I just think it's really funny that this guy he decided he really doesn't like me. Because I use malicious rail cannon without using, like, core nuke or, like, coins to increase. I think that's an incredible reason for choosing to dislike me. And I kind of have to rate it a little bit. Just being, like, so, like, ultra kill brained that you're like, no. The reason I dislike this guy is because he plays the game in a silly way. I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't be surprised because of the whole under the mayo thing, which, I mean, I'm not, like, I made fun of it a couple times because I thought it was funny. And then I learned more of, like, how much people were actually going after him. I was like, oh, okay, it's less funny now. Although I will still reference it occasionally because, I mean, it's, you know, it's a reference. Haha, funny, mayo percent XD. It was a bad review. Okay. I have nothing against the mayo guy. I know nothing about him. All I know is he did a really stinky review of Ultra Kill. But then, poor dude got hit with the whole... He got hit with the whole Ultra Kill community wrath, and I'm pretty sure by the end of it he was just rage baiting people. Which, I rate. I do that all the time. Rage bait is funny, okay? Damn, that guy went flying. Oh my god, wow, okay. But yeah, I don't know, if you couldn't tell, good rail cannon. But I think rage bait's kind of funny. I think it's right to rage. This entire video is just rage bait, like, you know, title and thumbnail, something fraud related. The video has nothing to do with fraud. Get baited, lamau. I guess, like, is it clickbait? Is it rage bait? It will definitely piss off some people. Good. I think it's funny. And if you don't like that, then why have you watched all 13.5 minutes of this video? Thanks, by the way. That's a lot of watch time. For me. And for you. That's a lot of time out your day to spend watching silly Ultra Kill guy talk about silly things. Like meeting a Clash Royale YouTuber in Brighton because it would be really funny. Except I probably won't do that, because that's kind of weird. Just because it's weird doesn't mean it wouldn't be incredibly funny. I stand by that. Anyway. This seems like a... You know, I was about to say, this seems like a good level to end it off on. But I mean, I've made hundreds of videos. And they all end at the end of a level. So what if I just end a video halfway through a level? Yeah, that sounds good.